So we're going to go through a incline dumbbell row continuous tension set. So the exercise with the row is moving from point A to point B. Okay. Now as I'm moving through this point, I want to provide as much movement variability with this exercise. So in terms of what I can explore, this is going to be moving the elbows in different places in terms of up away from my side, coming a bit higher maybe than shoulder height if possible. Other things I'll be able to explore is elbow rotation. So this movement here, pronation, supination, and even how much I'm opening and closing my elbows. Okay, all of these can also be done in combination. Now I'm going to be moving forwards and backwards with the exercise. So if I was to break this into 3 zones, zone 1 will be here, where as I provide all those different movements like I explained, I'm doing this at the same time. Okay, so my elbows are moving back and forth, but not any further in line with shoulders. Zone 2 will be back and forth, a little in front, a little behind my shoulders, elbows opening up a little bit more. And then zone 3 will be this area here towards the end, finishing just shy of an elbow lockout, just shy of finishing the movement. So I want to be able to spend a bit of time in all 3 zones. I'm going to give a demo of how to perform the exercise. So I've got my bench. I'll get into my bent over row position. Okay. And then from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into start position, and I'm just moving back and forth. Now, as I do this back and forth movement, I'm also providing different areas to explore. So as I mentioned, the elbows can come out to the side, a bit more in line with shoulder height. I can start to explore maybe going higher. I can provide different angles of elbow rotation as I go through this. Try my best to stay into zone 1. I can move further down here. And then as I start to fatigue, I'll start to move a bit further down into zone 2, where my elbows are moving a little lower than shoulder height and a little higher back and forth here. Same thing, trying to see all areas I can potentially explore. And then as I start to fatigue in zone 2, I'll move to zone 3, finishing just a little shy of finishing the movement, still moving up and down slightly, still exploring as much movement possibility from the shoulder, from the elbow, as I go through the movement. So, just to recap, the bent over row, moving from point A to point B. During that time, if we break it up into 3 zones, I want to spend a bit of time in this zone 1. Zone 2 will be in the midpoint. Zone 3 will be just shy of finishing the exercise. As I'm going back and forth with this movement, I can provide as much movement variability to challenge the shoulder joint. So moving this elbow out to the side, even higher than shoulder height, providing elbow rotation as I'm going through that movement as well, will change and challenge the shoulder joint in many different ways. What I would suggest, if you haven't done this exercise before, start with a conservative weight, assess how it feels before deciding to increase the intensity with the weight. You can also play with the angle of the bench, which will change how it challenges those muscles as you perform the exercise.